Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport from wherever you're all watching across all platforms, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Round 4, Race 5 for the RSRA Super 2 E-Series, and we have gone to Western Germany in a little town called Rheinland for the RaceKraft Simulations Nurburgring GP 160. And on the outskirts of this town is the most famous track that we are all well known, the Nordescleft circuit, the 20.2 kilometer circuit around the outskirts of Rhineland, and we all know that it's a tricky one to get around there. But all focus tonight on the GP circuit tonight for the V8 Supercars and the boys for Wednesday Night Motorsport, and it's already heating up out there on track tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Davis, JP, joining you in the booth tonight, and I'll bring our director, JP. He's been kind enough to assist me in the booth tonight with a little bit of commentary, mate. JP, thank you very much for joining me, and welcome to the Wednesday Night Motorsport.
Matt, thanks very much for having me, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, viewers from Australia and all over the world.
Mate, we saw Tuesday Night Motorsport last night. We had Zach Haven and yourself open that one, and I joined in about not even a couple minutes to spare in the end of qualifying there to watch an absolutely fantastic race tonight, and hopefully the boys can back that one up tonight.
Yeah, last night was an absolute cracker of a race. Went right down to the last lap. Hoping to see the same kind of racing tonight as well. These guys have been practicing hard all week. Lap times are looking really close out there on track. So, yeah, looking forward to some great racing.
Lap times are close, all right. Separating the top... what have we got here, ladies and gentlemen? Separating the top 10 at the moment is about a second up there. So very close within the top 10, but going further back right down to the top from 10th right down to about 22nd, ladies and gentlemen. It's only separated by a second again. So this circuit is definitely going to separate the boys from the men tonight. That's for sure. And JP, Nurburgring, a tricky one to get around, especially in a big bus like the boys are handling tonight. We know this is a Grand Prix circuit. Excuse me. We know it's a Grand Prix circuit. What's it going to be like to try and handle 650 horsepower of Australian muscle around a GP circuit like this?
Yeah, look, this track's a challenging track, but it lends itself really well to the supercars. You know, you can take a lot of track in places. You can monster the curb in certain other places. It's really down to, you've only got that one really big hard braking area down at the end of the main straight there. The rest of it, you can trail the brake and really get the car flowing. Once you get that flow on with the car, then the laps sort of just peel by themselves. But if you start pushing a little bit too hard, you'll find yourself in trouble on this track.
Well, before we get into the track info, as we see someone sliding through the track already, the track info on the championship points, you were lucky enough to get some laps done earlier in the week around Nurburgring, just to test it out for the boys tonight out on track. So, if you've got that lap ready on you, mate, I reckon we might give the viewers a little bit of a insight of what it's like to handle the Nurburgring in 650 horsepower of V8 Australian muscle. What do you say?
All right, let's get on to it.
Welcome aboard the 555 Simshed Broad ZB Commodore. I'm JP, and today I'll take you for a hot lap of the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit for the Real Sim Racing Australia Super Series and Super 2 E-Series. So we're looking for a good exit out of turn 16, short shift to third gear, and start working through the gears, making sure to stay off the rev limiter. Now start going a little wide here. Want to brake in a straight line, brake hard, start to modulate the brakes, shifting down into second gear, try not to lock up, modulate the brake here through turn 1, on we go to turn 2, in second gear as high as we can, off the gas to help the car turn in, short shift to third gear, get on the power early, on the brakes, into second gear now, trail the brake going in, release the brake, help the car turn, on the power now, off the power again to help the nose turn in, and we short shift into third gear to get out of that corner and get on the power as early as we can. On the brakes, just here at the marker, trail the brake in, on the power early again, off the power, brake in again, turn the car in early, try to short shift it on the power as early as we can. Heading towards turn 8 now, go through the gears, make sure not to hit the rev limiter. At the marker here, we start to brake hard, shift down, trail the brake, into second gear, open up the face of the corner to get a good exit. Early on the gas, into third gear, move across to the other side of the road. We want to use that section here as the berm, slight touch of the brake to bring the car across again, on the power, and we're on our way to turn 11. Just here at the marker, on the brakes, down into second. I like to use second, turn in early, short shift to third, on the power, back down into second, turn in early again, short shift to third, get on that power as early as you possibly can. Use all the track coming out of there. Flat through this corner here, on our way to the Vidal chicane. At the 100 metre mark, we start to brake, lead off the brake, shift down into third gear, get on the power early, back off again, back onto the power, use this as a berm, brake early, into second gear, open the face of this corner up, get on the power as early as we can, into third gear, we short shift, on the power, and we're on our way to the finish line. Well, that's about it from me. I'm JP. Thanks for joining me for a hot lap of the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit for round 4 of the Real Sim Racing Australia Super Series. And
How was that, ladies and gentlemen? JP taking you for a flying lap around the Nurburgring GP circuit. And now you've seen what it's like to go around in a V8 supercar. Let's have a look what the itty-gritty business is tonight with what is going to be going on with the race distance and everything else. 5.15 kilometres in length, 32 laps, 164.8 kilometres in race distance. So just a little bit over our advertised 160. But big one tonight, pit lane speed limit 60 kilometres an hour. And a bit more on pit lane later on in the race as well, ladies and gentlemen. In regarding to race control and how heavy they are going to be penalising drivers for a little bit of naughty shortcuts that we've been seeing over the weeks. 55 litres of fuel restrictions, 2 pit stops tonight, 4.1 litres of fuel burn a lap. So lots of pit lane strategy to be happening tonight. 2 sets of tyres. 14th of July 2021 is the race date. 9:25 in the morning is race start with an air temp of 22, track temp nice and cool in 24. You'd expect that for a nice morning track. And a southwesterly wind direction of 14 kilometers an hour. It's a little bit up there on the cars. It's going to be affecting the aerodynamics of those cars as well. But it shouldn't be too bad once they're in the tow. And obviously, there's championship points as well to go through, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get them fired up out of the way, and we'll get some more talking done before the boys wrap up in qualifying here. And Jamie Davis, last week's race winner in the Super Sprints, is taking out first position at the moment and holding it fairly comfortable there. 5 points over David Nash, who's in second position. Hayden Smith in third with only 424. Benjamin Siren, Jonathan Bain rounding out the top 5 there. Then it goes back to Simon Bella, Stephen Martin, Adam Moore, Tony Gaffer, and Mr. Robert Bradbury rounding out your top 10 there with 362 points. And a big target painted on that man on your screen there, Jamie Davis. Last week's round winner for the Super Sprints. And what a race that was, JP. And he's got a big red target painted on his back tonight. I actually haven't, so he is in the server tonight. He's currently buried down in about 9th position. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this one tonight. But by the looks of it, ladies and gentlemen, qualifying has wrapped up according to my timing screen here, as we've just got a few technical issues at the moment with our points, championship points. But we'll get the grid rattled off for you very, very shortly. David Leslie there rounding out your top 30. And there's still more drivers to come, 40 to be exact. And what a big field for a championship run it is. And I think there's about roughly 35 drivers out on track tonight, as we see the safety car to the left of the screen there, just doing a quick, clean sweep of the track. Make sure no drivers are and still completing a lap. No one's crashed off the circuit. There's no debris or bumper bars laying around or even missing tyres. And we hope there's no missing tyres, because that means there's going to be a couple pit lane starts for a few drivers. But the Porsche Carrera GT, brought to you by Sim Shed Broadcasting, out on track. And JP, I believe you're the one that's actually designed that paint scheme on our safety car for the RSRA Super 2 E-Series.
No, look, you're close. I didn't actually design it. This is an adaptation from a paint that was done by John from Flash Graphics. He actually did the official SimShed Broadcasting Supercar for us. Unfortunately, John didn't have enough time to paint the car, so I've been able to adapt it for this series. But no, the idea is 100% Flash Graphics, and anyone looking to get some liveries done for their cars, definitely give John from Flash Graphics a yell. He does some fantastic paint jobs.
Mate, you're a man of many talents. You not only adapt the paints onto the cars, but you're doing all these overlays for us, adding to it. And obviously tonight, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a little bit of glimpse of the split screen happening for you, the picture-in-picture on your screen. We'll be able to watch a battle for first position, as well as go back to mid-pack and see what's happening down there. So we'll be able to bring you those live pictures at some stage throughout the night as the safety car wraps up its lap around the track. Going for a bit of a hot lap. I believe Craig Schultz is our safety car driver tonight, and he'll be wringing the absolute neck out of that portion. Let's hope he doesn't have to fire up the engine during the race, because that means if he does, there's going to be a safety car out on field. And last night the boys did not have one, and we are going to be aiming for the same thing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll keep an eye and see what incidences play out tonight. The corners to look out for as well, JP, especially off the start, is that stadium section. A very, very tricky one to get through.
Yeah, 100%. Everything from turn 1 to about turn 4 is going to be really tricky for these guys. They're going to have their wits about them, especially into that hard braking zone into turn 1. But probably even more important than that is going to be the entry into pit lane. Now, there's been a little bit of controversy last night with the entry to pit lane. A lot of guys were cutting the blend line going into pit lane. Race Control have decided for tonight they must not cut the blend line going into pit lane. So they must enter the pit lane at the first control line, and they must be completely in the lane by the time before they get to the second control line. So expect to see, if people aren't paying attention, expect to see some illegal pit lane entry penalties tonight.
Let's jump on board with the safety car, JP. We'll show the viewers exactly what it's like to enter the pit lane correctly, because no doubt they will be wanting to teach the drivers out on track tonight what it is like to do a correct pit lane entry. And it's a tricky one coming in. We saw a few drivers last night, one being Rainer Costello, had a big slide just before the pit lane entry coming out of the corner. It's a tricky one. So you've got to hug it nice and tight to that apex before you zip back in. And as we see, Craig Schultz at the moment goes for another lap. So 3 laps just to clear the field. And doesn't look like he's going too lightly either. He's definitely going for gold out on track tonight, getting those quick laps out of the way to make sure no one's out on track. And not lapping too quick either. He's only down to a 2:01, so he's about 5-6 seconds off the faster guys at the front of the field tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in the V8 Supercar. But through turn 1 he goes, and we'll stay on board for another lap to see if he actually does pop himself back into the pit lane. We believe it's about a 5-minute window that the safety car has just to do a quick couple sweeps of the track, make sure no one's out there.
Yeah, look,
I've been able to get you that grid up as well, ladies and gentlemen. JP, what's the point of the big sweep around the track for Craig Schultz in the safety car?
Look, I think he's just going to be happy that he's been able to be fastest in one session. So, all right.
There we go. So Craig Schultz gets booted from the track from iRacing. That was the 5 minutes up. And let's get to your grid tonight, ladies and gentlemen. JP, why don't we split it 12 for 12? Hayden Smith off the starting position there in first position, followed up by Mark Turner just behind him. So Smith and Turner with an absolute flying start. Brian Good, David Nash off row 2, Adam Moore, Simon Vella off row 3, Bruce Tannick, Robbie Bradbury row 4, row 5 we'll see Jamie Davis, Troy Allen, row 6 we'll see Justin Pennyfather and Kyle Zeke.
Row 7, we've got Steve Martin and Tony Gaffer. Row 8, Tim Mulford and Scott Barchin. Row 9, we've got Jonathan Bain and Anthony Visma. Row 10, Stephen Banks and Ben Saron. Row 11, Jason Schooler and Stead Miller. Row 12, Robert Brower and Thomas Foster.
Row 13, we'll see Andrew Johnson and Stephen Lawrence lead from there. John Nikolaev, Blair Van Ree out of 14. Alex Schuller, Daniel Schultz out of 15. Gary Crittenden, Craig Gurry out of 16. And Todd May making up the last spot there. But the lights are out. Round 4, race 5 is underway at the Nurburgring in Ryland for the RSRA Super 2 E-Series. Mark Turner with an absolute blistering start. Haven't seen too much of him in this series at the moment. There's your picture-in-picture, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time. Car 420 for a pit lane start from a warm-up breach. The car 420 started from the pit lane due to a warm-up breach. No doubt would have seen himself go out on track while the safety car was doing its sweep. Mark Turner, though, almost a second lead over Brian Good at the moment. Brian Good with a fantastic start. Bruce Tannock with a fantastic start. Hayden Smith, the biggest loser so far, down 4 positions. David Nash holding steadily where he started from in 4th position. Look at this, though. It's on for second place. Bruce Tannock, Brian Good finding out. This brings David Nash into the fight and his teammate Hayden Smith. My apologies. I've got Zach Cayman in my ear at the moment from last week, battling out for Smith or Smythe. But Mark Turner, this is allowing Mark Turner to from Bruce Tannock, David Nash, Hayden Smith, Simon Bella, riding good, Adam Moore, Justin Pennefather, Jamie Davis, and Cole Zing, who round out your top 10. Darting and dashing, 2-3 wide as they come through the corners. Mark Turner, though, absolute blistering start. Can he convert this into a race victory? In the Sim Shed Broadcasting, I believe it was the Mustang. I can't quite remember myself, but I believe it is the Mustang for Turner. Yes, it is. So my memory serves me right tonight. We're off to a good start so far, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 1 in the books. Let's go for lap 2. 32 laps tonight around the Nurburgring GP circuit. JP, by the looks of it, everybody so far off to a clean start. Not too many big losers tonight. They've all held their positions nice and comfortably.
Couple of little offs there, but generally speaking, everyone's had a good start. So credit to the entire field there.
Anthony Visma, ladies and gentlemen, Stead Miller, your biggest losers so far. They're down. Oh, there's my timing board. Goes everywhere. Apparently, there's a crash somewhere out on the field as I just get that in the back of my headset there, and just trying to see if my my timing board's figured itself out. There we go. Stead Miller, Tommy Foster now the biggest losers with Robert Brewer. They're both down. All 3 of them are down 7, 6, and 8 positions so far. Goodyear Auto Care run a replay though for you, ladies and gentlemen, with a big accident. Daniel Schultz, as we try and get the liveries to load up for you on the iRacing server, gets a little bit of a helping hand from behind, and everybody piles in with nowhere to go. Daniel Schultz with a bit of a helping hand into turn 1.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
That was very, very disappointing. Nowhere to go for everybody else. A few little iRacing glitches still being sorted out, ladies and gentlemen. A lot better though from last week. And look at this, it's a right sim racing 2, 3, and 4. Bruce Tannock, David Nash, Hayden Smith in the battle, chasing down Mark Turner. And they've made the gap up. Mark Turner was out to a 2-second lead. Tannock, Nash, Smith have round him up now. It's only out to an 8/10, or just under a second, 8/10 as they come onto the main straight, ladies and gentlemen. And that gap is closing very, very quickly. Mark Turner, Bruce Tannock, David Nash, Hayden Smith. As Turner goes fastest lap of the race. Tannock now goes fastest lap of the race. 1:55.62. Turner, Tannock, Nash, Smith, Bella, Good, Davis, Pennyfather, Kyle Zink, and Adam Moore rounding out your top 10. And make that Troy Allen rounding out your top 10 as he goes up on the inside there of Adam Moore to take 10th position away there from the middle for the Middle Finger Racing boys. JP, what looks like to be a pretty cruisy race last time, sort of died off. We only had a couple battles throughout the pack. Looks like to be tonight. It might be action packed from start to finish.
Yeah, looks like it's on tonight. Bruce Tannock there's just made the fastest lap of the race. I'd say he's going to start hunting down Mark Turner, so it's going to be a matter of time before he's on the back of his car. So looking forward to that, really.
Benny Siren now, putting pressure all over Timmy Mulford. We'll keep you up to date what's going on the front of the field, ladies and gentlemen, with Mark Turner and Bruce Tannock, as the Riot Sim Racing boys are on the charge to take away that first position from Mark Turner at the moment. Can Mark Turner be defensive and make that Mustang as wide as Reino Costello did last night? We'll have to wait and see. Be able to get some picture-in-picture for you throughout the night as well, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to keep you up to date with some interesting battles. But our race winner from last week, Jamie Davis in the AutoServe entry, sporting a little bit of a new livery tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He's had an update, and it's looking beautiful. A little bit of an update between rounds. There's nothing wrong with that. But Mark Turner now. Big pressure from Bruce Tannock, David Nash, and Hayden Smith as they've checked away from Simon Vella at the moment.
Here we go. Look at this move here.
Bruce Tannock up on the inside with a big dive into turn one. Doesn't get it done. Turner leaves him racing room though, just in case he couldn't pull the car up. Very clean racing, but safety car. Safety car, safety car, safety car. Safety car out on track, ladies and gentlemen, so that's going to shake things up. The strategy tonight for the drivers would have been a 12-8-12 for their pit stops. Maybe even a 13-6-13. Safety car out on field, lap 4 of 32, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to shake things up. Pit strategy is out the window. They can come in now, grab a splash and dash of fuel, and try and do the very big undercut and stretch these pit stops out. There's the reason for your safety car. Dragon RC entry car 84 by 84, I believe it might have been. 64, that'd be Daniel Schultz. Pulled up off the side of the track there at the moment.
Let's see if we can have a look at this and see what happened to Daniel Schultz.
Try and get a replay, ladies and gentlemen, for the Goodyear Auto Care runner. What happens to Daniel Schultz here? Just decides to get on the gas, and his engine in that Mustang says, no, I don't want to play ball tonight, Daniel. I'm going to fail on you here, and we'll make you call the safety car out for everybody in the RSRA Super 2 tonight. So, motor engine failure for Daniel Schultz there. Mark Turner decides to play the gamble. He's in the pits. Turner is doing the gamble.
That's going to be that's a bit of an early stop there for Turner. I don't know what he's going to achieve with that, but let's see how that pans out for him later on in the race.
Oh, it's going to be interesting, JP. He's pitted a little bit early, but don't forget, safety car's only just been called. It could be a 2 to 3 lap safety car, and if it is the case, this could play into Turner's hands because, as I said, a 12-6-12 stop, as we saw a couple boys do last night, worked in their favour. Even a 13, oh sorry, it was a 12-8-12, 13-6-13 also worked. And Alex Court was one of the biggest gainers out of that one, who made up a ton of spots to get himself just outside of the podium positions there. But if Turner can hold out and save fuel whilst in this safety car, and the safety car stays out long enough, this could play dividends. But look at that, ladies and gentlemen, the action on pit lane.
Look, you've actually got a point there. I mean, I think with this sort of race, you can go until about 8 laps before you need to come in for your first stop. So these guys have come in on lap 5. If there's 2 laps with the safety car, and they can get to lap 7, do a little bit of fuel save, they might be in the box seat here.
Well, let's put it this way, JP, and ladies and gentlemen, your top 11, excluding John Nikolaev and Stead Miller, they're 13th and 14th, they have not pitted. Your first person to pit so far is in 12th position, and that is Mark Turner. That's put him into the hot seat, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Turner is in the hot seat if these front runners decide to pit under green. If Turner can not let these guys get too far ahead, he's going to be in the box seat at the end of the night to possibly do the biggest undercut we have seen. So that's one to play out, providing there's no more safety cars as well, JP.
Yeah, look, the safety car needs to go around for one more lap. I think if it comes in at this lap, it's going to be a very hard call for those that have pitted to save enough fuel to be able to not have to do a splash and dash at the end.
Well, it's only one lap. That's we think about it. It's only a little lift here and there as you go around. If you can save that couple of litres, which, yes, it's hard to do around the Nurburgring whilst being quick, but if they've been able to master it and they can save just one lap of fuel and not burn up their cooldown lap, right, look at this, ladies and gentlemen, safety car out for one more lap. So this promotes Mark Turner into a nice hot seat. But as I was saying, JP, if they can save enough fuel and enough to be able to do their cooldown lap as well as still push throughout the race, they could possibly do the fill now, do 13 laps, and then fill up to the end. So, and there we go. Race Control have advised everybody that the safety car is in this lap. So, a lot of numbers to be thrown around at the moment, JP, and it's we saw the race won and lost on pit lane last night. Could it potentially be another race won or lost tonight on pit lane due to the numbers? We'll get JP's thoughts on that one. That's all right, mate. We know how busy you are on the scene. It's a numbers game tonight. And we saw last night the race was won and lost on pit lane between Costello and Rudd. Tonight it could be another numbers game with the race won or lost on pit lane again.
Yeah, 100%. Look, this is very much going to be a strategy game. You're going to need to be able to use your pace. Now you're going to have to be able to be quick, save fuel, save your tyres, because you're going to want to put those fresh tyres on for the last stint and get out there and burn as fast and as hard as you can.
We saw the boys do that last night, and it didn't play dividends for Rudd. He burnt up his tyres too quick trying to chase down Costello, and Costello was too good on the tyres and had that setup working perfectly for him to defend. So we'll see what the boys can do tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday night is the benchmark. They've already had a safety car tonight in the Super 2 E Series. The racing has been fierce already, and it's only lap 6. About to go lap 7 of 32, ladies and gentlemen.
So this is going to kind of play into Mark Turner's hands here. He needs a couple of laps of fuel saving, get in there, fill it up. He's one stop up on the guys ahead of him, so he needs to try and clear some of that slower traffic in front of him as well. We're seeing the safety car's going to start peeling off soon, so they're all going to bunch up behind Bruce Tannock and get ready for the restart. Here we go.
And he's not too far away from the leaders either, JP. He's only just a hop, skip, and a stone throw down the road as we see him about to pull around the corner there, just at the very top of your screen. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, that yellow and black Ford Mustang, just behind the bright blue car of Anthony Visma and Andrew Johnson, just behind him in the chrome Mustang from the E1 Sim Racing as well. So the two easiest cars to spot around on track. Mark Turner is behind them, so let's see if Turner can make amends, peel those two guys out of the way, chase down Scotty Barton and Stephen Lawrence, and then give the hunt down to Tannock, Nash, and Smith up the front. But at the moment, it's a right sim racing.
Oh, no, look at that.
Oh, no, Bruce Tannock on the restart. Clips the wall. Gets on the gas a little too early. Luckily enough, his teammates were behind him to protect him on that one. It was almost race done there for Bruce Tannock, though, JP.
Yeah, look, he just got on the gas way too early mid-corner there, and that spun him into the wall. He's pretty lucky because we saw last night a couple of guys do that, and it actually rotated them completely, and and that was it, race over for them. And it looks like we might have something with Mark Turner here. He may have crashed. Let's go to the replay and see what we can find out.
Mark Turner just dropped a whole heap of positions down to 15th, ladies and gentlemen. may have had a bit of a helping hand up on the inside of Johnston. Oh, too late on the brakes by the looks of it. Oh, no!
What?
That's a
Honestly,
Excalibur Racing entry.
what were they thinking? I mean, really, coming from that far back, that's just poor racing.
Poor racing indeed by the Excalibur entry, boys, there. And takes out the potential race leader. But he hasn't dropped down too far though, JP. It did hurt him a little bit, but not as much as we thought. He was able to get away and running. Didn't do too much panel damage either. So he's still in the fight to be able to give these guys up front a run. But unfortunate for Mark Turner, that's for sure. We hope he can get back up to the front because he's in the fighting hot seat at the moment. He's still got to now get past Jamie Davis and Simon Vella though. So they're going to be the two hardest drivers to get past for Mark Turner. So at the moment, effectively, after pit stops are all done and dusted, Simon Vella, Jamie Davis, and Robert Brewer will be your effective race leaders, ladies and gentlemen. And then it's Mark Turner, Justin Pennefather, and Adam Moore behind them. So back to the battles though. Kyle Zink all over the back of Troy Allen coming into turn one. Not all over the back, just a bit of a car gap in between them. And the man we're just talking about, Mark Turner, Dragon RC entry in front of him. That'd be John Nikolaev.
He was
with
really
a big slide.
He was skating that car in on the rear brakes the whole way. I mean, yeah, Mark Turner had to get out of that one to let John, but he's trying to make his way back now. He's got the right nose. John's cut across the front there. He can't get through.
John Nikolaev making it impossible for Mark Turner to get by at the moment. The AO6 of Robert Brewer sitting out in front of this little battle happening here.
I'd say expect to see a penalty coming down for Stead Miller there for that move going on the restart there on Mark Turner.
And there we go, Stead Miller. JP confirms it for us. Stead Miller was the man from the Excalibur boys who unfortunately just rocked them all up coming into turn one off the restart. And car 959 drive through for a legal pit lane entry lap 4. So 959, ladies and gentlemen, that's one
Spencer
of the 95 sim racing boys. Benny Siren. Benny Siren with a trip to pit lane for an illegal entry. So first one of the night, ladies and gentlemen. There he is on your screen. And we'll see if we can get a replay of that one at some stage just to show you what the illegal entry looks like and how much they're allowed to use. As this Benny Siren goes off track now. Goes a little bit too hot into the corner. And Blair Van Reed now all over the back of, just over the back of him. Benny Siren though, all over the back of Stephen Bank. And back to the leaders though, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce Tannock, David Nash, Hayden Smith, the right sim racing boys, cruising comfortably out the front. Single file, car 024, drive-through penalty for car contact on for car 28 and 058. Now we know which number the 058
That will be
is.
Stead Miller for car contact on Mark Turner and Andrew Johnston.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. And just trying to find Mark Turner. There he is, sitting comfortably in 13th position. So he was able to make up a couple positions so far, but Stead Miller with a trip lane for that incident there, ladies and gentlemen. The Goodyear Auto Care will run a replay for you to show you Benny Siren's illegal pit lane entry. And what I see there is relatively clean on my end. We'll get a replay of that one for you, ladies and gentlemen.
This looks like a perfect pit lane entry to me, so it must have been another violation that he's put in, because that is in no way a illegal entry into the pits.
No, that is as clean as you can get it, JP, and it might have been actually on pit lane that he copped his infringement for maybe being a little bit too greedy on the pit bay entry. But car 46 drive-through contact, drive-through penalty for car contact on car 85 lap 7.
So that'd be
that's Justin
Pennefather
on the 85. Car 85, that'd be Timmy Mulford. So Pennefather with a little bit of contact on Mulford. That sends him to pit lane now. But Bruce Tannick holding comfortably out the front. David Nash just following him there, saving a bit of fuel. Might be a little bit of team strategy playing out here, ladies and gentlemen. So one to watch. It's Orion Sim Racing 1, 2, 3.
Here we go.
Brian Good, Troy Allen, Kyle Zeke, Jonathan Payne, Stephen Lawrence, Scotty Barton, and Anthony Bismarck rounding out your top 10. And what's happened to Simon Bella there as well, JP? He's dropped off the field and all the way down in 29th position, dropped 23 positions so far. So we'll try and find out what's happened to Simon Bella there. And may have been a bit of an incident or a coming off the track. But that's promoter Mark Turner just behind Jamie Davis there. Still in 13th position there.
Yeah.
But all eyes at the moment are on Nash, Tannick and Smith. And Nash has got the move done on his teammate.
Yeah, and right now you can see the Riot guys have really got control of this race. So they'll be very happy at the moment.
Lap 10 of 32, ladies and gentlemen. For your Wednesday night motorsport in Rheinland, Germany for the Nurburgring GP 160, brought to you by RaceKraft Simulations. For all your sim rig needs, hit him up on Facebook. But Mark Turner with a big lunge up the inside of Robert Brewer.
That was just way too ambitious.
Very ambitious by the superstar of the race so far, who's playing the strategy. Get a good Euro Care run and replay for you there, ladies and gentlemen.
He sizes
He
him
had
up
the
there.
run.
He goes for the move.
Had the run, got up on the inside, and just a little bit late on brakes. Robert Brewer held his line, and Mark Turner didn't realise how much of the inside of the track he still had left to go. So a little bit hot for Mark Turner into that corner. Had the move on, but luckily enough, wasn't much car contact between himself and Robert Brewer and wasn't a pit lane penalty. But that's invited Adam Moore around him now. So another position he's got to make up.
Yeah, this is not playing into Mark's hands here. He just needs to calm down a little bit. He's got pace. He just needs to be a little bit more patient.
Patience is a virtue in these safety cars, ladies and supercars. If I can get my words correct. As he has a look up the inside now of Moore into turn one. Moore gives him plenty of racing room. Moore knows that he's quicker. Lets him go by. And Turner can now hunt down Robert Brewer again. And there's two names in that eSIM one crib over there, JP. Robert Brewer and Robert Brewer.
Yeah, it can get a little difficult at times.
Yeah, you got Jacob Brewer and Robert Brewer. So you're going to get those two names mixed up, that's for sure. And I just got it mixed up there. It's not Robert Brewer, it's Jacob Brewer. So my apologies to my teammate there. But definitely a tongue twister over there for the E1 Sim Racing boys. Especially with the last name spelled completely different, but almost pronounced the same. Jamie Davis, though, sitting comfortably in 10th position now, just behind Stephen Lawrence, applying the pressure. Last week's Super Sprint round winner. Now in the top 10, making the run for first position, where David Nash is currently sitting.
He just doesn't. Jamie just doesn't seem as comfortable in the car as he was last week.
No, he's very off the pace at the moment. He's lapping about 2 seconds slower. Mind you, though, he is in traffic. His best so far is a 156.42, but he is in traffic a little bit, so maybe a bit of fuel-saving game or not. But Jamie Davis not looking too comfortable in that Ford Mustang tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to see how much that's going to affect his actual race chances. He is the first one out of the top 10 to pit, and he is effectively the race leader as he sees him lights up those rear tyres already, so he knows they're going to be hurting. And he said last week tyres are a big factor for him.
Now this is something to take into consideration. The only cars that are currently in the 156s are the 3 Riot Sim Racing cars at the front.
And 156 is by a long margin as well, JP. A 156.45 to Nash, a 156.6 to Bruce Tanning, and a 156.8 to Hayden Smith last lap around, and then it goes back to Brian Good to a 157.2. Colesing with a 157.9. So those boys are definitely on fire now, ladies and gentlemen, and they've got big control of the race. They've taken off over Brian Good. They've left him in the dust. Mark Turner, though, 156.87 last time round. So he's got the pace. He's got the pace to battle Jamie Davis to get inside the top 10 and overtake him. And he's got the pace, if he can catch the Sprite Sim Racing boys, to give them a race tonight. Otherwise, those boys from the right squad, they're going to be having a very quiet night in the office, chatting amongst themselves and seeing if they saw a stone pebble on the side of the road or a little bit of sand. We will have to find out in the post-race show.
It's kind of like
when we get to that.
It's kind of like going for a cruise down the shops for a milkshake.
Oh, this reminds me of my night at Montreal in the nationwide tracking systems or technology systems Tuesday night motorsports. I had a very lonely race out there, JP. So I understand where those boys' heads are going to be at, and that's where you're going to be losing concentration as well, ladies and gentlemen. So watch out for that. Those boys will be chatting amongst themselves, trying to keep them all concentrated and focused on the task at hand. And that's going for a lockout grid.
You see that?
Jamie Davis,
slides from Robert Brewer coming through the chicane and then going through the last corner there. And it's worth mentioning as well, Robert Brewer's gone from being a privateer to now being a member of the E1 Sim Racing squad.
Yes, that's the good thing about this series as well, JP, is myself as well was a privateer when I first joined and ended up signing in on with the E1 Sim Racing guys are over there, and unfortunately just can't get in the sim anymore. To be able to turn laps with these guys out on track, I don't know where I'd be actually within the racing, but Jamie Davis at the moment, we'll get back to that, JP. Jamie Davis putting the pressure on. Stephen Lawrence gets the move done finally. Yeah, with all that going on, he's promoted Mark Turner back into the battle.
Yeah, this has been a few laps in the making, this, and Jamie's just decided he's turned up the wick now, and he's starting to make a little bit of hay while the sun shines.
Something's come alive in that Mustang of Jamie Davis's, and he's feeling a little bit more comfortable. 158.32 last time round, though. He's still 2 seconds off the leaders and their lap times. And they definitely will be seeing those leaders come in any lap now. It's lap 13 of 32. 20 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. And Nash, Tannick and Smith should be getting low on fuel these next 2 laps around. Don't forget, they had the safety car. They were able to save a little bit of fuel. So this is going to help them. They're going to be able to go 14 and maybe do the short stint of 5 or 6 laps on used tyres and then go again on fresh tyres with less fuel. Car 226. Drive through penalty for car contact on the 46.
But that'd be Craig Gurry contact with Justin Pennyfather.
Craig Gurry, contact on Pennyfather. So Craig Gurry with a trip to pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, the Middle Finger Racing boys with the Goodyear Auto Kia Orana boys. Drinking it out here. Get that number on the screen there, 019.
So we've got John O'Ben with Scott Barton there.
And that's John O'Bain with Barton. Battling it out at the moment.
Looks like Barton doesn't have an answer for Jono at this stage, but yeah, he's close. He might be looking at making a move here into the hairpin.
Got him Barton up the inside of Jonathan Bain.
Nicely done. And look, Jonathan...
that promotes Visma into it.
Yeah, Jonathan left the door open for Scott there. Did the right thing, but Visma has seen an opportunity and he went for it, but he just did not have the pace to close the deal.
Almost 2 positions lost there for Jonathan Bain. Pat Davis, JP on the mic for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And all focus at the moment is on Mark Turner, currently sitting in now 10th position. who decided to gamble with the pit stop, and by the looks of it, for himself and Jamie Davis, it's going to pay off. David Nash, Bruce Tannick, Hayden Smith, rounding out your top three there. Cole Zinks, Scotty Barton, Jonathan Bain, Anthony Bisman, Jamie Davis, Stephen Lawrence, and Mark Turner, rounding out your top 10.
Kyle Zink's in.
There we go, Mark Turner in the ninth now. Scotty Barton in. Cole Zink is in the pits. Stephen Lawrence is in the pits. So there we go. That promotes Turner and Jamie Davis up a few more positions. Now the first pit stoppers, you're going to start seeing them resume the lead of the race. And it's going to be a quick 6-lap dash, maybe even a 7-lap dash for those drivers, depending on how much fuel they were able to save. It's a numbers game, ladies and gentlemen, and the numbers are going to be thrown around tonight.
Yeah,
Nash, Tannick, Smith, one more lap to go on their fuel tanks. Most likely, they're going to be running down on this smell of an oily rag, JP.
Yeah, we should be seeing these guys coming in either this lap or next, I'd say.
And JP, we also heard news in the back of my ear from yourself. The picture-to-picture racing, unfortunately, still having a few glitches tonight. So hopefully we can get those images back up and running tonight. If not, hopefully get it running for next week. On Tuesday Night Motorsports, Zach Cave and Chris Kisby bringing you that one. Don't forget as well, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night Weekend Warriors Cup car racing.
Now let's
see.
Let's see if they come into the pits. It's going to be absolutely crucial that they get a good pit entry here.
Nash not in. Oh, Nash with a perfect entry. Almost looked like he wasn't going in when he faked it to his teammate. But Hayden Smith out for one more lap. Hayden Smith going for the long run. He was able to save enough fuel behind the safety car by the looks of it, and he thinks so. He's left his teammates. And he's going for that extra lap.
Jonathan Bain's in now. Anthony Visma as well.
Bain, Visma, and Brewer into the pits. Davis and Turner now sitting second and third, more just behind them, not too far.
Now look at this for a turn of events. We were saying that Jamie wasn't looking comfortable in the car. We forgot that he actually took his first stop behind the safety car. So that's elevated him in the first place now. Very,
very lucky he did, mate. And is just fortunate enough Mark Turner had that little bit of a spin as well. Otherwise, be coming around or being just in front of Jamie Davis. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Turner is hunting down Jamie Davis. He's on the charge. Hayden Smith is going to be pitting this lap. He can't go any longer. He physically can't. The fuel tank is bone dry.
He would be running on fumes right now.
Don't be surprised if you see him pull off the track or slow down significantly, ladies and gentlemen. He's running low on fuel.
I think he's done his calculations. He knows how much fuel he's got. I think he might have rolled the dice, but he'll have enough to make it back to the pits.
Whether it be limping into the pits, ladies and gentlemen, or he's going to be rolling through. But just remember, they can't use the starter motor. Hayden Smith now into the pits. Superb entry there. That's textbook right there. That's what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen, from every driver. Runs a little bit wide. It's a tricky pit lane entry. You're on the gas to get to the corner as quick as you can, and you always forget your brake marker. Jamie Davis, though, now takes control of the race in the race lead, and he's got Mark Turner in the 92 Sim Shed Broadcasting Ford Mustang breathing heavily down his neck. He can feel the ponies behind him.
Mark Turner's about a second a lap faster than Jamie at the minute, and he's closing in on him. Now it comes down to who's actually put more fuel in for that stop behind the safety car.
It's as much fuel as you can get after completing 4 laps, JP. So it's both the same size restrictions on the tanks. And at the moment, Jamie Davis has picked up the pace a little bit, 157.61, versus a 1:56.51 last time round, ladies and gentlemen. But their fastest laps of the race so far are very, very close, only a 10th apart. So Jamie Davis doesn't quite have the race pace at the moment, but he's holding steadily. Mark Turner hammering down on him, only just over a second away, 1.1 seconds to be precise.
Now this is where Mark's going to have to be patient. He's just going to need to buy his time. He knows he's faster than Jamie. He just needs to get up there and give himself the best opportunity he can to pass.
David Nash pops out in 5th position, 12 seconds down the road, ladies and gentlemen. So that just goes to show how much of a numbers game it is, or a dice rolling game it is. Davis and Turner, Moore and Bradbury rolled the dice nice and early under safety car. They decided to run the risk, pit under safety car, and pray that it stayed out for those extra couple laps so they can save the fuel. The dice they rolled had the lucky 7s on it. So they resume the race, and they've got a nice 13 second buffer over David Nash. Don't forget David Nash, Bruce Tannick and Hayden Smith were the ones to stay out the longest there, ladies and gentlemen. And that has propped them down to, you got David Nash in 5th, you got Bruce Tannick in 11th, and Hayden Smith. What has happened to Hayden Smith, buried all the way down in 24th position, JP? Something big's happened to Hayden Smith. He was in 1st position, now in 24th. That's a loss of 23 positions. And Simon Vella as well, buried down there in 26th, down 20 positions. But Mark Turner now all up over Jamie Davis.
Yeah, I'd say it's either fuel strategy for Hayden, or he just got into the pits a little bit too hot and he managed to get himself a pit lane penalty.
Biggest winners of the race so far, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Schooler up 12, Blair Van Ree up 15, Alex Schuler up 12. Biggest losers, Brian Good down 11, Hayden Smith down 23, Simon Vella down 20 positions, and already a couple retirees of the race. I believe that'd be Daniel Schultz and no, Gary Crittenden, and Craig Gurry is currently still circulating the track. But the battle at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Turner, Jamie Davis for 1st position, 15 laps to go. Mark Turner has a look up the inside of Davis. He knows he's quicker, gets the move done before they even make the chicane.
Yeah, nice move there.
The Michael Schumacher S's, as they like to call it. Onto the main straight they come. And now watch Turner skip away. Can Davis go with him though? We know Turner was a second quicker over Davis. But what's going to happen now that Davis has got someone to follow who he knows is about the same pace as him? We haven't seen too much from Mark Turner over the up and coming weeks. For round 4, race 5, Mark Turner has turned up the wick, ladies and gentlemen, put the pedal to the metal. And he's now leading the race.
Yeah, and it's worth noting as well that he's circulating almost a second faster than David Nash. So he needs to keep this up, keep this kind of pace up until he comes in for his pit stop, and that might give him the undercut.
It might give him the big undercut, JP. We'll have to see what happens. There's only going to be a couple more laps of fuel in the tank for them tonight, ladies and gentlemen, before they got to make their secondary pit stop. And that's when they're most likely going to be taking tyres.
Well, we're looking at the critical lap now. So lap 19, lap 20, they should be able to make it home from here with one more stop.
We'll see what pans around as they come up the pit lane here, ladies and gentlemen. Does Turner and Davis go for the pit lane? Or do they stay out for that one last lap to try and stretch it out? Turner, look at this, skipping away from Davis. He's going to have a quiet night in the office if he can keep this one up.
He's certainly showing some good pace out there.
He's showing some blistering pace. Mark Turner lapping in the 156s last time round. Jamie
Here we
Davis
go.
in the 158s. Mark Turner in the pits. Jamie Davis in the pits. The race is now on, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep you up to date where they pop out behind Nash and Tannick. Don't worry about Hayden Smith. He's buried down all the way in 18th position.
Here we go. Nash is in
He's
for his
not a
pits.
fight.
He's in for
Nash
his final
is in
stop.
for the pits as well. So Nash decides to do a splash and dash as well. This is interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the critical lap. They can make it home from here with this stop. So everybody's going to be coming in. Few people are going to try and roll the dice and stay out a bit longer to get fresher tyres. But I'm going to say that most of the drivers will be in this lap.
So there's a flurry of cars on pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. And Mark Turner, obviously the first one to pit there. In his pit box, he'll be able to get the jump out over Nash and Davis, who are his main rivals. Big smoke show by Mark Turner. Gets out of pit lane first. Jamie Davis just hit the pit limiter there. Takes off after him. And that puts Turner in 4th position, ladies and gentlemen. 4th position on Mark Turner. He's lost next to no positions.
That's really put Mark in the box seat now.
Box seat, all right, JP. Mark Turner, you're looking at your first race win. The commentator's curse, we're not going to try and give it to you. He's got to keep his head cool. His hands cool and his feet as light as a feather, ladies and gentlemen. It's his race to lose right now.
Now, this is going to be interesting. Obviously, everyone behind him is going to be on fresh tyres, and we know that David Nash is blisteringly fast on new rubber. So it'll be interesting to see if anything or if anyone can do anything about Mark Turner's lead.
Mark Turner with a big undercut tonight, JP. David Nash buried all the way in 10th. Mind you, couple pit stops in the way of him. You've got Brian Good, you've got Troy Allen, Cole Zink, Jonathan Bain, Scotty Barton, Anthony Bismarck, who are still yet to make their stops. Adam Moore's the only real competition as David Nash just gets past him now. So those 5 drivers in the way of Nash. Now, if they stay out and provide car 92 drive-through penalty for pit lane infringement.
Jamie Davis. That's Jamie Davis.
That's Jamie Davis. Car 92, Jamie Davis, pit lane penalty for an infringement on pit lane. So Jamie Davis is going to see himself go from the top of the field and get buried. In he goes. Deserves it straight away.
No use arguing with race control.
Big one for Jamie.
Yeah, no use arguing with race control. They were warned at the beginning of the race. Oh, look at this. Oh, Troy Allen had a big slide.
Save by Troy Allen.
Like I was saying, they were warned at the beginning of the race that there are no pit lanes lined up in this, or pit boxes lined up in this pit lane. However, race control were going to monitor the pit exits, and if people were staying in the slow lane for too long, they would get penalised.
Well, JP, race control definitely serving out the penalties. We'll stay on board with Troy Allen here as well, JP. We'll get some airtime for the middle finger racing boys, and we might go and crank up the volume if he stays out and go for a lap around the Nurburgring and listen to the 650 horsepower of pure Australian V8 muscle in a bus. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I call them a bus because that's what they are. They're heavy. They've got no aerodynamics over them. But we'll stay on board with Troy Allen if he doesn't dive into the pit lane. And we'll crank the volume up to go for a hot lap around the Nurburgring GP to listen to that engine roar. If he doesn't go in, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stay on board with Troy Allen. If not, Mark Turner's in the box seat. So Troy Allen in, Brian Good in. Sorry, Mark Turner in the box seat for a hot lap, ladies and gentlemen, the Simshed Broadcasting Mustang. So crank up that volume as we go around the Nurburgring GP circuit and listen to 650 horsepower of V8 muscle roar. Martin taking the Nurburgring GP circuit. How's that, ladies and gentlemen? 2 Sim Shed broadcasting cars tonight, bringing you a lap of the Nurburgring. And there's Sim Shed broadcasting cars all over the Nurburgring tonight. You got the safety car, you got the Commodore of JP, you've got the Commodore there. I believe that might be Gary Crittenden as well, and you've got the Mustang of Mark Turner, our race leader.
Yeah, there's
And
nothing
what
like there's nothing like a
JP?
bit of gratuitous advertising there for SimShed Broadcasting.
No, that's one of our big sponsors as well for the RSA Super 2 E-Series and Super Series as well. We'll get to those sponsors in the post-race, ladies and gentlemen. Hayden Smith on screen now. He's going to try and play the long game, try and make up as many positions as he possibly can after he's had a big fall down the field earlier on. We know he's quick. He's been on the podium for 3 weeks in a row. Currently sitting in 5th. Mark Turner, Cole Zink, who is yet to pit. David Nash, Adam Moore, Hayden Smith, yet to pit. Anthony Bismarck, yet to pit. Robbie Bradbury, Jamie Davis, Tony Gaffer, and Bruce Tannick. Rounding out your top 10, ladies and gentlemen. And Tony Gaffer with another absolute fantastic race. Again, up 5 positions from where he started. He's currently sitting inside the top 10 in 9th position. So another outstanding performance by Tony Gaffer there, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Zink from the 9.5 boys. He might be going for the long run.
Yeah, he's going for the big long run. I think they can get him with about 7 or 8 laps to go. So he's going to try and stay out there for as long as he possibly can. Maybe hope for a safety car.
Safety cars breed safety cars, JP, and ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen another one yet. So fingers crossed, commentator's curse always comes to bite us on the bum. But so far, so good. The racing looks like to be clean. Everybody's found their own rhythm. Timmy Mulford on your screen from the DSL Welding Service and DSL Welding entry.
Yeah, it's a good looking car, that DSL Welding Services car.
Very, very subtle, but very, very clean at the same time, JP. He's got Ryan Good breathing up the back bumper of that Commodore.
Yeah,
Got a bit of pressure going on Timmy Mulford.
Brian's really menacing him now.
Left and right in the mirrors, Brian Good goes. Has a look up the inside. Doesn't have enough of a run. Can he get a run down here though? So a little bit of slipstream comes into effect at this side of the track, ladies and gentlemen. Grasped by Timmy Mulford. Takes it wide to get a turn in. Brian Good has a look up the inside. Can't get it done. Another opportunity down here if Good can get the run. Timmy Mulford will have to go defensive. Brian Good has another look up the inside. Big lunge. No. Starts the car to the right hand side of the track and just can't get it onto the brakes late enough to pull up the inside of Tim.
Some great racing going on there.
Very, very great racing. They've lived up to their names. You'd almost think this is Tuesday night motorsport, JP.
Yeah, fantastic. Really well done by these guys tonight.
Lap 26 of 32, if my screen is reading correctly. I've got a little bit of a smudge on my screen, ladies and gentlemen. So 25 of 32. Nash in again. Nash in for another stop. Did he pit too early, JP?
That's interesting. 13 laps. They should be able to make it home on 13 laps to go. So this is going to be an interesting. This is really interesting.
Very interesting indeed. David Nash, Hayden Smith, both in the pits. We didn't see a penalty for the car 911 pop up on our screens. Maybe something race control have dealt out behind the scenes. But David Nash out, so it looks like it was just a quick splash and dash for Nash. A very quick splash and dash. It was only 11 seconds on his stop. in the first stint. Or his second pit stop, I should say. He's had 3 now.
Perhaps
That's given Mark Turner a bucket load of breathing room.
yeah, that's given him a big free kick. Maybe there was just a miscalculation there from David Nash with his fuel.
We've seen it on Tuesday Night Motorsport, where your first place hitter ran out of fuel on his cooldown lap, ladies and gentlemen. So maybe he's just playing it safe to be able to complete that cooldown lap. There's still 8 laps to go as well around the Nurburgring GP. So enough time to make up a couple positions, still gain some valuable championship points. Hayden Smith will take away the 5 bonus points for pole position tonight from qualifying. Mark Turner, unfortunately, not going to be getting the clean race due to that little nudge that he had a bit earlier on.
And right now we've got Anthony Visma trying to chase down Adam Moore. Lap times are very, very similar between both cars. Last lap, Adam Moore did a 1:58.17. Anthony Visma, 1:58.16. So there's nothing in it.
Visma still yet to pit as well, JP. Don't forget about that one. So watch Visma for the pit lane. He's up 14 positions at the moment. Hopefully he can make up enough time so he only drops down just outside of the 10 and he can make up some more positions to not pop himself inside the top 10 for the end of the race.
Yeah, so that's
Mark Turner, Colesing, Adam Moore, Visma, Bradbury, Davis, Tannick, Gafford, Good, Mulford rounding out your top 10. JP?
Yep, that's going to bring Robbie Bradbury into the corrected order for third place at this stage.
So Robbie Bradbury has done a Bradbury moment. He's had a good qualified 8th. He's currently sitting 5th position, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't seen too much of that man this season so far either.
And
the big talking point at the moment is Mark Turner. He's stolen the race. He's played the numbers so far. Anthony Johnson gets out of the way.
And 2 cars, only 2 cars in the 56s. Mark Turner, last lap, 1:56.3. Justin Pennyfather, 1:56.8.
Pennyfather's found some pace out of his car as well tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's lapping in the 158s, 157s. Turner last time around a 157 as well. So Turner and Pennyfather have got some pace tonight around the Nurburgring. They've got those setups dialed in.
Zink is in.
Cole Zink in the pits. Robbie Bradbury has to play cool behind Visma. He knows he's still yet to pit. Doesn't want to hurt his race right now.
Now these two are racing for position, but yeah, Visma needs to come in for another stop. So does he fight hard, or does he just let Robbie Bradbury go and take care of his pit stop when the time comes?
And JP, another thing on my timing board now, Hayden Smith, 4 minutes and 15 seconds and counting in the pit lane. Currently 2 laps down now. He's had something big happen. Repairs, we're not sure, because we know, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following from round 1, race 1, they get a fast repair. Something the boys in the Super Series don't get. We thought we'd grant these drivers with just a little bit of gratitude to give them a fast repair in case something goes wrong. Hayden Smith might have a little bit of an emergency on his side of the sim racing end. We are unsure.
Look at this. Kyle Zeke is looking very racy now. He's come back out after his pit stop, and yeah, he is looking good.
Fresh tyres for Zink. Fresh tyres for Zink, and that means he's going to be on the loud pedal. He's going to be able to make that car hook up wherever he goes. And he's going to be fighting to get back inside the top 10. He's currently where he started the race in 12th. Nation School are up 11 positions. He's had a fantastic race so far. The biggest gainer in the top 20, ladies and gentlemen.
And look
Anthony
at Zink
Visma, another big
all
gamer,
over
up
the back of
15, but
Stephen
he's still
Banks.
yet to pit. Stephen Banks, immense pressure by Cole Zink. Through we go, 3 wide. Almost.
Dear Lord, no.
Stephen Martin wanted to get into this battle. Cole Zink now up on the inside of the final corner. Can't get it done. Can he get the run onto the straight?
He's got a good run. Banks goes defensive.
Banks goes to the middle of the track. There's still more track to play with coming into turn 1. Zink has a look. Hard on the brakes. Goes Zink into turn 1. Big lock up, but gets it pulled up. Very tricky corner, ladies and gentlemen.
Alan tried to follow him in there, but Stephen Banks was onto it and just came across and just stopped Troy Allen from making that move.
Troy Allen got the move done over Stephen Martin in those moments we will focus on Zink and Banks there, ladies and gentlemen. But Zink now chasing after Jason School for that top 10 position. Anthony Visma still yet to pit. Big turn though for Gary Crittenden. I almost thought that was Mark Turner for a second. I saw the yellow and black. Goodyear Auto Carolina replay for you, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Crittenden comes out of pit lane after making his third stop, my apologies. Comes into turn 1, lock of the brake, and around he goes.
I'd say probably he didn't reset his brake bias going into into turn 1.
And JP, just for the viewers at home, brake bias definitely plays a big part in these cars.
Absolutely. Well, these cars, because it's an open setup, they can adjust their brake bias and their front and rear anti-roll bars during the course of the race. So if they've got the ability to do that, it makes a massive difference on the balance of the car as the fuel load sort of lightens the car up.
Now, obviously, anti-roll bars, people are going, what in the world are they? And there's not much action going out on track as we just go to a quick replay from Goodyear Auto Carolina, brought to you by the Goodyear Auto Carolina. Robbie Bradbury and Anthony Visma. What goes on here? We saw Visma dart into the pits. Visma just plays it nice, lets Bradbury go by, knowing that he's got to go into pit lane. Very, very smart driving there by Anthony Visma. Very smart driving.
I'd say it's quite possible that Visma was either running out of fuel, or he knew that if he tried to fight too hard, he might come unstuck there. So he just let Robbie Bradbury go.
JP, now everybody, back to the question I was about to ask you. Roll bars. Everyone's going. What in the world are they? Are they a little stick? What is it? I know. Give them a little insight. There's a blue and red lever inside the cars. What exactly do they help the drivers with?
Well, the anti-roll bars actually allow them to soften or harden up on the what are they? On the sway bars on the car. So as the fuel load lightens up on the car, they're enabled to, they can compensate by either hardening up or loosening or softening their anti-roll bars, their front or rear sway bars, to allow the cars to turn in a little bit better.
I couldn't picked it better myself, and I'll give you an insight, ladies and gentlemen. JP had no idea what in the world anti-roll bars were until just then, because he was able to make it up, and he was absolutely spot on. So I'll give you the insight for that. The director is a man of many, many talents. And no, Google did not have any play in that one either. So if Google did have a play, you would have got a much lengthier answer. But no, hit it on the head there, JP. And they do help the drivers soften up the car a little bit. And they're able to use a little bit more tyres as well, ladies and gentlemen. So they can soften the rear right up as we get a car drive through for task 6. Pit lane infringement, Anthony Visma. So a little bit greedy on the pit lane entry there, or the pit box entry, I should say, for Anthony Visma. But no, the anti-roll bars, if you soften up your rears there, ladies and gentlemen, as your fuel tank lightens up, you can use a lot more rear tyre to get the drive out of the corners in the car. And for instance, if you start on 6.6, you may want to pick the fronts up to a little bit stiffer, maybe go to an 8. as the fuel dies off to a lower level and drop the 3s maybe down to a 4, maybe even a 5, and you probably even drop it as far down as 3. But just remember, if you have too stiff a front, too soft of a rear, it can play havoc and start really messing up with the car. And maybe we'll be able to get Daniel Coughlin Engineering to clarify that one up for us and give us a proper rundown of that one night maybe. But Justin Pettifather currently sitting 13th position as we speak. Mark Turner still leading the race, and he's got a mammoth lead, ladies and gentlemen. When I'm talking mammoth, I'm not talking 5-6 seconds, I'm talking 17 seconds back to Adam Moore. Car 911. That would be David Nash. Drive through for contact on the 019. That's Johnny Bain. Jonathan Bain had car contact by David Nash. So Nash is going to see himself go to pit lane. Nash's night has gone from good to bad to worse. And this just helps Turner out even more. And Jamie Davis finds himself back up in a 4th position after a pit lane penalty. As there's cars off all over the field. Colesy goes by looks of it might have been Joe or Jason Schooler. Off on the grass there, yes it was. Scotty Barton just up in front of him, but Colesy now on fresh tyres. Hasn't gotten too far. He's actually dropped down from where he popped out. He's down now in 13th position as well, JP. So a little bit of unfortunate for Colesy somewhere around the track. But all eyes at the moment as we go lap 31 and 32, ladies and gentlemen, on this man right here. He's pulled the numbers out of the hat. He's had the lucky dip. He bit the bullet and went for it. And it's paid off with dividends. 18.5 seconds over Adam Moore. Mark Turner is your current race leader. Around the final corner for the second last time to take the white flag. The last lap for the RaceKraft Simulations Nurburgring GP 160. On your Wednesday night motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. He's driven flawlessly all night long. He's had a few pushes. He's had a spin. Not his own doing. He had a little bit of help. But this man has driven the Mustang perfectly. He's made some amazing overtakes to get to where he is now. He called the pit stop early on lap 4. 111 pit lane infringement for lap 30. David Nash again. David Nash's night's gone from good to bad to worse to completely one I want to forget. Or one he wants to forget. Yeah. The man of the hour, Mark Turner. JP, you were saying about Nash?
Yeah, it's just snowballed for him, unfortunately, you know, and it's all too easy to happen. You know, one small mistake turns into a second one, you get flustered, turns into a third one, and before you know it, it becomes what we're seeing tonight.
Big snowball effect for the right sim racing boys tonight. The only one out of the 3 cars up the front of the field tonight to be able to maintain their top 10 position is Bruce Tannick. But we're going to see an all-new podium, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. Mark Turner, your current race leader, back to Adam Morse, 19 seconds, nearly 20 seconds now, ladies and gentlemen. As Mark Turner comes through the last few corners. Through the final corner, he comes for the last time on your Wednesday night motorsport. Mark Turner, take a bow. You're the RaceKraft Simulations Nurburgring GP 160 winner. And a superb race by you, mate. Adam Moore in second position. Comes around for the last time. And Robbie Bradbury has done a Bradbury moment. He's bagged himself the first podium of the season. And he's going to be absolutely wrapped with that. Jamie Davis in fourth, Bruce Tannick in fifth. Tony Gaffer with a stellar race. He's going to see himself home in sixth. And then back to Timmy Mulford, Brian Good, Stephen Martin, and Stephen Banks for your unofficial results, rounding out your top 10. But all eyes on Mark Turner, the privateer, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, in the number 28 Ford Mustang. And he's lost it on one of the corners. Luckily, it's the end of the race.
Still has to make it back to the still has to make it back to the control line though.
He does. So he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. Maybe a little bit too much rear brake bias, or he might have gone for a Reina Costello moment and tried to go for a bit of a slide. But
here's a hallmark moment there. The Simshed ZB Holden and the Simshed Mustang together.
With the Simshed Broadcasting logo on screen as well, ladies and gentlemen. So how's that for some advertisement right there for your Wednesday Night Motorsport? But Mark Turner with an absolutely superb race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He's hit all the numbers that he needed to hit. Couple mistakes on the way.
Yeah, look, when he got run into, I thought that was going to be hard to recover from. He made another little mistake there, which I'd say probably would have been through desperation, but he's managed to come back, and the whole time he was just circulating and getting those laps done. So he's done an absolutely fantastic job.
And a 4:20 of Gary Crittenden stayed out for another lap by accident, so he's going to complete an extra cool-down lap. But Mark Turner, mate, it is your time to shine. Let's see how you can do a burnout in a Ford Mustang, and your first one to happen for the season. Crank up the volume, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to this. And he may have run out of fuel there just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of confidence for him, but a big tip in. 10 points for the tip in. Chris Kisby will give you that one. May not be out of fuel, mate. Just wanted to find a little bit more track, ladies and gentlemen. What better way to do it than down the end of our pit lane there, where the track really widens up. You can almost run 4 cars wide into turn 1. Ain't going to be pretty when you get to into turn 1, but you can definitely run 4 cars up into turn 1. So, but your unofficial results, ladies and gentlemen, about to come up on screen. And look at that. For the first time in 2 seasons, Ford has dominated the top 10 standings in this. Mark Turner with his first race victory. Adam Moore in second. Robbie Bradbury in third with his first podium. Jamie Davis, Bruce Tannick, Tony Gaffer, Timmy Mulford in 7th, Brian Good in 8th, Stephen Martin and Stephen Banks rounding out your top 10. JP? Justin Pennefather, sorry, JP's just a little bit preoccupied, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep rolling through for you. Justin Pennefather, Troy Allen, Kyle Zink, Scotty Barton in 14th, Jason Schooler, 15th, Alex Schuler, 16th, Anthony Visma, Blair Van Reed, David Nash with an unfortunate night tonight. All the way down in 19th position, and Stefan Lawrence in position 20, rounding out your top 20 there. We'll go over to the next page. Jonathan Bain, Tommy Foster, John Nikolaev, Stead Miller, Andrew Johnson, Simon Vella, and we start getting into our lapped cars here, and DNF. Stead Miller, Andrew Johnson, Simon Vella, Craig Gurry, Gary Crittenden, Robert Brewer, Benny Siren, 4 laps down there in the rounding out the top 30. And then we go into the DNFs, Hayden Smith, Daniel Schultz. And obviously the safety car driver and race control there, Craig Schultz and Todd May. Craig Schultz with a little bit of a drive tonight. He got the sweep around the track, and then he also got to do the throw the lights on and lead the field around for a few slow laps while they sorted out that incident there with Daniel Schultz. But JP, your thoughts on the race tonight as we get the podium into the booth tonight, and your thoughts tonight on the race, and in comparing it to last night, did it live up to its name?
Absolute cracker tonight. Great racing by everybody. Look, for the majority of the drivers, they kept their noses clean. Some great racing, some great overtaking moves, textbook moves into the pits. It was great to see the guys not go and take all of that blend line. They did exceptionally well tonight, and I think absolute great follow on from last night's racing.
Definitely great follow on from last night's racing. Last night set a very high benchmark, that's for sure. And even though we had a safety car in tonight's race, unlike last night where they had none, even though we had one safety car tonight, it was a race that I definitely won't forget because it was the numbers game that played out for one Mark Turner. Just waiting to get one last driver into the booth, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go to some post-race interviews and ask a couple questions to throw them around. And throw some questions around and while we wait for one, I believe it's Robbie Bradbury that still has to join us in the booth so we can get some questions fired over to him. But we'll bring in, actually there he is, he's just popped into the green room now. We'll drag him down into the broadcast, and we'll start straight away with him because obviously the latecomer to the party. Robbie Bradbury, mate, big congratulations on third position there. And I believe it's your first podium as well to join us here for season 2. So big congratulations there, mate.
Mate, yeah, what a race. A bit of everything, that's for sure.
Mate, you've done a Bradbury moment finally. We've been waiting to say it, and you've done the Bradbury moment. You've bagged yourself your first podium. We haven't seen too much of you throughout this season and last. How's your race around the Nurburgring tonight? Because we know it's a tricky track and can be very, very tough on tyres.
Yeah, it was very hot at the start. Definitely, yeah, bit of tit for tat in the first couple of corners, but managed to get through that. And then that safety car came out, and I think pretty much all of our team, we decided to run the gauntlet, hoping that that strategy would pay off, and yeah, in the end it did.
Mate, you've I believe the best qualifying so far for you this season so far, down in 8th position.
Yeah, something like that. Back into the 10, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so the best qualifying so far for you so far this season. And obviously that's obviously coming down to the setup. A track that blends well with you around the Nurburgring.
Yeah, I've somehow gelled with it. I only got it early last week. But fast flowing, they're the sort of tracks that I like. Those GP styles, yeah, definitely.
Mate, just talk us through that that safety car period. We saw Mark Turner, Adam Moore also take that dive into the pits as well, and it's paid off for them, and it's paid off for you tonight, mate. And it's going to be a question to be thrown at yourself as well, Adam and Mark. Robbie, the safety car came out, and the pit lane, there was a big flurry for quite a number of drivers. And I was sitting back here in the booth, JP and myself, and wondering, is it actually going to be working out for you guys at the end of the race? And there was a little bit of a grace period there where you actually got the safety car for an extra couple laps. So what was going through your head and the team's heads as that safety car came out and the pit stops were being made? Was there a few numbers being thrown around there?
Yeah, there was a lot of chit chat on don't we take it? And we're like, if we take it, we knew we're going to be tight on fuel, but we're hoping, if we got that extra couple of laps behind the safety car, that we should be able to just get over the line. And I think pretty much all of us that went in, we got over. So paid off in the end. But they're the chances you got to take sometimes. You don't get them every day, so you'll make the most of it.
No, exactly right, mate. You played the numbers game and it's paid dividends for you, mate. Stick around. A few more questions to fire over your way regarding next week, and also a few sponsors for you to thank as well from the Century Motorsport team. Moving over to Adam Moore, though, mate. haven't seen much of you either around the tracks, and tonight's definitely first, and congratulations on your first podium, I believe, as well for the season too. We've seen a few regulars on the podium, but I haven't seen you pop up, mate. So welcome into the broadcast, and congratulations on second position.
Thanks, mate. It was a good race. I've been hanging around the top 10, but yeah, to get in the top 5 was awesome.
Mate, you've done better than getting into the top 5. You've made yourself into the top 3 and bagged yourself a second position. So, what brings the second position? You started all the way down there or qualified in 5th position there and had an absolute stellar qualifying, and then obviously pitted under that safety car, which has obviously granted you the second position, I believe.
Yeah, qualifying hasn't been my issue. I think I've qualified in the top 10 nearly every race. It's just the race pace that's let me down. And I think I dropped 11th, around 11th in those early laps. So once that safety car came in, it was a no-brainer. I thought I had to dive in just to try and make those places back up.
Mate, you played the numbers game just like Mark and Robbie, and it's paid off for you. Mate, Iridium Sim Sports, you're representing here. Give us a little bit of insight to those guys and what's going on in the team over there.
Well, I've only joined the team less than a year ago, I think. Devon Stove brought me over to the team, and I've loved every minute of it. Yeah. All the boys are amazing. I got, I think, 5 of our team in this field. Only 3 of us in it tonight. Justin and Alex had a tremendous race. I think Justin would have finished just behind me, but he copped a penalty, so he dropped down the leaderboard a little bit. Yeah, loving life in at Iridium Sim Sports.
Mate, we haven't seen much of the Iridium Sim Sports boys, and it's good to see a few new faces as well sitting up here in the broadcast room with myself and JP for the Wednesday Night Motorsports. Now, mate, Nurburgring, it's a tricky track. Obviously, cold tyres through the stadium section is a struggle to get through when you're by yourself, but when you pack yourselves with 30 other cars, 35 other cars around you, it makes that life just that even more trickier. Tyres tonight, were they a big burner for you, or were you able to hold on to them and be able to use them in the last end of the race there?
No, they went quite early. I think about lap 10. I think I held on to my first set for 19 laps. After 10 laps, they were gone. And the same in the second stint. That last 3 laps, I was just hanging on. Watching my relative, making sure Robbie wasn't getting any closer. No chance of catching Mark, but just really trying to hold Robbie off.
Mate, Mark ran away with the race with a nearly 20-second lead by the time he crossed the finish line. Mate, stick around. Obviously, a couple more questions to fire your way regarding next week, and we'll get you to thank some sponsors as well from the Iridium Sim Sport crib over there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about him for 99% of the night tonight, and there was good reason for it. He was the first one to take the gamble and dart into pit lane as the right boys stayed out on track and tried to do the long run under the safety car, but JP and myself knew that it wasn't going to work, and he got the good graces, and was the safety car stayed out for him that extra couple laps. Mark Turner, mate, congratulations on the race win tonight, mate. You absolutely stole the race with a 20-second margin over Adam Moore. And, mate, you drove it flawlessly, even with someone coming in a little bit too hot into turn 1 and tagging the rear bumper of yours.
Yeah, you got a bit hot when that happened.
Mate, first time in the winner's seat, I believe, as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of man-hours behind the scenes. The Middle Finger Racing guys helped me out, and I got a new rig from the PC doctor. I got a new wheel, pedals, rig, everything, screen, and my field of view was like 110. I just didn't have it all set up right. Once they got all that done, we're set to go.
Mate, it just goes to show what a few bits of equipment can help in a driver with the confidence as well. Mate, you mentioned the Middle Finger boys over there giving you a hand. It's good to see some bigger name teams giving the privateers a bit of a chop out as well, ladies and gentlemen. So a big thank you, obviously, to the Middle Finger boys there for bringing the big ones to give the privateers a hand. Mate, Nurburgring, a favourite of yours?
I got it last week like the other guys, but I did 120 test laps, including 2 races with Kai. And I was always pitting on lap 6. And when that safety car came out, I went, "What's this? This is like heaven."
Right, and you bagged your first podium as well last week in the Super Sprint round. So that's obviously giving you a little bit of a motivation to get up here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good stuff being up the front. No, I like it.
Now, give us a bit of insight. Obviously, the Kai Turner is the young one in the Turner family over there. Maybe a future in middle finger racing.
Yeah, the midfield's going out there. I started in R Factor back in 2014. Actually raced against Scott McLaughlin, and I was an admin with Outlaw Racing. I think they're still going actually. Yeah, I've done it all the time. Took a couple of years off. I had a bit of a heart problem last year and was in hospital, and just got back out and started getting back into it.
Mate, hopefully we're going to be seeing your name up the top of the board a little bit more often, and you can start giving Kai a bit of a run for his money. Field tonight. Obviously, you played the gamble early on under the safety car.
I used a lower gear, so I was getting 3.8, so I was always going to make it.
All right, well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of insight from Mark Turner there. Using the lower gear set ratio, saved himself, and I've just got my track notes here. They were 4.10 litres of fuel burn a lap, which was on average as well, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Turner, I just almost called you Kai Turner then. Mark Turner was using 3.8 litres a lap. So he was always going to be safe. And JP, that's another interesting fact there that, he's currently doing the points at the moment, so I can't get him to actually come in and give a bit of a chime. But it's a bit of an interesting fact there that just what happens with the gears, ladies and gentlemen, is how much you can save just that little bit of extra fuel. So a little bit of an interesting point to know, and something that you obviously had up over the field there, Mark. But nevertheless, it's bagged you the first win of season 2, and you've done it in incredible fashion with a 20-second lead.
Thanks. Yeah, it also saved the back tyres because you're in a lower gear as well.
Yes, definitely. Tyres will be definitely saved on that one. So, obviously, we'll ask you about them. Obviously, a lot of guys we saw slipping and sliding all over the place, but we saw you just comfortably cruising around like you were still on brand new ones. Obviously, tyre wear up front wasn't a big issue.
Well, I've always been a setup guru, and now I've done this. We've done 2 races in 41-degree heat. So when the track started heating up, my car just came in. If I was spilling last night, he would have come home hard too. But yeah.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate race for Kyle last night, but that was for Tuesday Night Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. So if you missed that, make sure to head over to the platforms of YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and suss out the race from the Super Series on Tuesday Night Motorsport, where Zach Caban will lead you on the commentary team for that one. Mark, stick around, mate. We'll ask a few more questions and look into next week. We've got championship points, the unofficial championship points coming up. JP, just as I say that, ladies and gentlemen, good timing by the director. Get a big time in the air. Got him. So let's get him up on screen, shall we? If JP has got him that quick for us, and he's getting quicker and quicker every week. Jamie Davis currently leading the championship after his 4th place finish tonight, 416 points. And that gives him a nice little buffer over David Nash now, who had an absolute shocker race. 496 points to David Nash. Hayden Smith, Jonathan Bain, Stephen Martin. Adam Moore now gets bumped up to 6th position. Benny Siren in 7th. Simon Fowler. Tony Gaffer with an absolute fantastic race again tonight, popping himself in the top 10 position. He's holding comfortably in 9th. And Robbie Bradbury pops himself into 10th position and holds it comfortably there. Brian Good, Cole Zink, Scotty Barton, Blair Van Riestead, Miller, Bruce Tanek, Jason Schooler, Scott Short, Troy Owen, Daniel Schultz, rounding out your top 20 there, ladies and gentlemen. And while those championship points just scroll through quickly, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the boys and the sponsor, boys and girls and the sponsors, obviously. Without them, this series would not be possible at all. And those guys would be the Nationwide Technology Systems, the Goodyear Auto Care, Warana, RaceKraft Simulations, DSR Welding Services, Dragon RC, Devon Stove Designs, Blue Stampede at Labour Hire, the guys over at FU Suicide for Men's Mental Health and the Blue Ribbon Foundation, SDK Gaming, Track Cams for Gourmet, and obviously the Sim Shed Broadcasting, and obviously JP's over at the JP Sim Shed for all the pictures that you're seeing. He's the one that pushes the buttons. He's the one that makes it all possible and sells this series to the sponsors. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, to always thank that man there, because he busts his nut every night, day in, day out, to get this to you. Even with the help of the admin team, he is absolutely chockers. JP, we'll look to next week, mate. Obviously, Alton Park, we'll bring the calendar up so the boys can see what we're facing. Robbie, mate, we'll start with you. Looking at Alton Park next week for 37 laps. And it's going to be another sprint race. What are your thoughts on Alton Park, mate?
It's going to be brutal.
Brutal. That one word, brutal. That's all we got from Robbie Bradbury.
Yep.
A favourite of yours, mate, or not so much?
I only just started doing laps around it yesterday, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, qualifying is going to be very important.
Now, I haven't actually looked at the track myself, mate. Is it the one with the short run to the hairpin, or is it the one that goes right around the long way of the circuit?
Right around.
Right around. So there we go. You don't have the hairpin to contend with. So that's another thing that's you guys should be happy about. But then you've got the chicane to deal with instead of the hairpin. So a little bit trickier. Adsy, mate, run to you for Alton Park. We know the tyres are a big thing out there. I actually got my first ever V8 Supercar win out there along with JP as well. The two Frenchmen got their first win. So, but no, I got my first win out there, mate. It's very hard on the tyres around Alton Park, especially with some very, very big braking zones.
Yeah, well, I have trouble with tyres at every track, so something I've just gotten used to. But Alton Park, yeah, she's a tough track. I don't think I've done that layout before. I've done the hairpin. I haven't done the full track, so that's something to learn.
Mate, how crucial, and just give an insight to the viewers, it's the last corner at Alton Park, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the little kink on the main straight there, but I like to call the real definite last corner there, the right-hander. A little bit of insight to viewers. You've got a right-hander, which is, as you exit, you're going downhill. Adsy, how key is it to get the run out of that last corner to get down the straight?
Yeah, it's massive getting a run out there. As you get around the corner, you got that slight dip, and as you're going up, you can lose traction going back up. I lost it a couple of times there. So you're kind of half scared to put your foot down coming out of that turn, but yeah, you've just got to go for it.
And a big tyre burner as well. Mark, mate. Oh, I'm going to start nicknaming you Marky, because it's just going to be a lot easier for me to say that one. Marky, mate, Alton Park, many laps there for you so far?
No, only in the Skip Barbers and the Mazdas.
Oh, you've got some form of idea of what the layout at Alton Park is like. Obviously, van supercars around there are going to be tricky. You looking forward to it?
Yep, I'm going to do another probably 100 laps this week.
Get the heart pumping, mate, and get the adrenaline racing as well.
Keep the doctor happy.
JP, mate, you got any questions to fire off to the drivers tonight, or any? As we just see the big turn there on Marky, who was able to recover from that one. Luckily, after I believe that was Crittenden with the spin. Oh no, Stead Miller with the spin on that one. JP, got any questions to fire off to Adsy, Marky, or Robbie there, mate?
Nope. No, I thought I'd just stump you with that and see what your reaction was going to be. But no, look, I don't have any questions. But guys, really well done tonight, all three of you. Great racing, way to stick it out. Some great strategy calls there when the safety car came out, and yeah, you guys certainly deserved the podium tonight.
Thanks, JP.
Thanks, JP.
Well, guys, we'll let you thank some sponsors quickly as well, Bobby. We'll start with you, mate. We'll go head to Adzi after that. And Mark, you can finish us out with some sponsors, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to thank JP for getting me into the league so quick a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, and doing the skin for me. It looks pretty cool.
Still waiting for your picture.
All right, Adzi, mate.
Yeah, thanks to JP and his team. I'd like to thank all the Iridium Sim Sports guys, Inside Lane Productions, Scorpion Racewear, Sim Shed Broadcasting, Short Shifts, Sim Racing Magazine, Sim Blacks, Devon Stove Designs, and Nathan Clive Motorsport. Without them, our team wouldn't exist. So thanks to them.
Marky, mate, finish us off with some team sponsors, and we'll get to finishing us off at just before, hopefully just on 10 past 10 at night.
The only sponsors I've got is Middle Finger Racing helped me, and the PC Doctor and JP helped me.
Mate, some sponsors are better than none, and that's what helps privateers become who they are, ladies and gentlemen. Well, round 4, race 5, ladies and gentlemen, all finished up, done and dusted. Big incident there for Gary Crittenden there. Just gets a little bit of tag from Andrew Johnson on the replay. Another one that we missed. So that's a good thing about the replay on the post-race show, ladies and gentlemen. You get to see some incidences that are missed during the heat of battle. And there was some battles tonight, that's for sure. But round 4, race 5 for the RSRA Super 2 A-Series is done and dusted. Looking forward to next week. Or this weekend, I should say, ladies and gentlemen. Weekend Warriors Cup car racing, 7:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. And then we come back Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Tuesday nights, you'll see Zach Cobb and Chris Gisby lead you off on that one for the RSRA Super Series from 8:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then join myself back here. And who I'm going to have next to me, I've got no clue just yet. Most likely will be JP again. But Wednesday night motorsports for the RSRA Super 2 E-Series from 8:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time as well. So another full weekend of motorsport going on. But, ladies and gentlemen, we head to Alton Park next week for round 5, race 6. And what a cracking race it's shaping up to be. Absolute stellar night tonight by Marky Turner. 22nd lead over Adam Moore. So bring it home in first position, and he played the numbers right. What's next week going to bring? We're just going to have to find out. My name is Matt Davis. Join me by JP and the podium, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week. Good night.